19 years ago, Lionel Messi stood in a football dressing room trying to work out how to hold a baby. There was a plastic tub between them. A rubber duck floated in the water. The baby stared back at him, 5 months old and completely unaware that the nervous young man above him was already becoming Messi. That baby was Lamine Yamal. And on July 19, 2026, they are due to meet again on opposite sides of a World Cup final. Messi is now 39, captain of Argentina, and the most famous number 10 Barcelona has ever known. Yamal has just turned 19. He wears that same number for Barcelona, and he has become the young face of Spain's attack. One photograph holds both versions of them, the legend before the trophies and the superstar before he could walk. But the reason they were together that day wasn't football. It was a raffle. To understand how they ended up in that room, leave the stadium for a moment and go to the offices of Sport newspaper. The staff there were building a charity calendar for 2008 with UNICEF and the Barca Foundation. One Barcelona player for every month, one child beside each player, and 12 photographs strong enough to make someone stop on the page. The year before, most of the children had come from people around the production. This time, UNICEF opened the door to families in the community. In Rocafonda, Munir Nasraoui and Sheila Ebana entered their 5-month-old son in a local raffle. The prize was simple, a photograph at Camp Nou with a Barcelona player. Lamine's name was chosen. The raffle promised a footballer. It did not say which one. That answer came later, when shooting days and player schedules placed the Nasraoui family beside a shy, long-haired, 20-year-old Argentine. Messi had entered the story without either of them choosing the other. The session took place inside Camp Nou, but not beneath the floodlights. There were no supporters singing, no match clock, and no ball rolling across the grass. Messi walked into the visitors' dressing room and found Sheila waiting with her baby. Nearby, photographer Joan Monfort had built the day's tiny stage, a plastic bath filled with water. Monfort had been thinking about the assignment the night before while bathing his own daughter. Most football photographs are easy to understand. Give the player a ball, point him toward the camera, and let his body do what it already knows. But a baby could not pass, dribble, or pose. So Monfort borrowed an ordinary moment from home. Messi would help bathe him. The other calendar sessions could move at a footballer's pace. A player arrived, found his mark, gave the camera what it needed, and returned to the rest of his day. A 5-month-old baby had no interest in that schedule. He would look where he wanted, move when he wanted, and smile only when something in the room earned it. For once, Messi was the one who had to read someone else's movement and wait for an opening. It sounded simple until Messi reached for the baby. He was not yet a father. He was quiet, cautious, and far more comfortable slipping between defenders than supporting the head of a 5-month-old child. Monfort remembered the first moments as difficult. Messi needed help finding the right hold. Sheila stayed close. The camera waited. Then Monfort reached for a rubber duck. It was the smallest thing in the room, and somehow it rescued the entire shoot. The baby reacted. Messi relaxed. The careful grip softened into something natural, and the awkward silence gave way to smiles. Monfort pressed the shutter. In one photograph, Messi cradled Lamine in a towel. In another, Sheila leaned over the bath beside them. And in the image that would outlive the calendar, Messi bent toward the water as baby Lamine looked up at him. Then the session ended. The photograph became a page in Sport's 2008 charity calendar, and the calendar eventually slipped into the past with thousands of other pieces of football memorabilia. For more than 15 years, almost nobody looking at Messi in that picture knew the baby's name. Even Monfort forgot who had been in the tub. While the photograph slept, Lamine kept moving. He joined Barcelona at 7 and tore through La Masia so quickly that at 15, he was already walking toward the first-team touchline. In April 2023, he stepped onto the field against Real Betis and became the youngest player ever to represent the club. The baby in the calendar was now wearing Barcelona colors for real. Spain called him next. He scored on his debut at 16, breaking the country's age records before most fans had learned how to pronounce his name. At Euro 2024, he kept going. In the semi-final against France, Yamal drifted inside from the right and curled the ball into the top corner. The youngest goal scorer in European Championship history had just dragged Spain level on the way to the final and then the trophy. And that was when the past came looking for him. During the tournament, Yamal's father opened the family archive and posted the old photograph online. His caption read, "The beginning of two legends." Soon, the image was everywhere. Across football feeds, two eras collapsed into a single frame. The long-haired player had become a world champion. The baby had become the teenager driving Spain toward another European title. The 16-year-old breaking records for Spain was the same baby Messi had held in a plastic bath. It felt too perfect to be real. So people began sending it back to the man who had taken it. Monfort recognized his photograph immediately. What he had not recognized was Lamine. To him, the baby had been one face among all the children photographed for the calendar. Now that face belonged to the most exciting teenager in football. 16 years after pressing the shutter, Monfort finally discovered the second half of his own picture. From there, the parallels kept multiplying. Both players came through Barcelona. Both were left-footed attackers who drifted in from the right. And in July 2025, Barcelona handed Lamine the number 10, the shirt Messi had worn through the greatest years of his career. Yet their careers had always missed each other. Messi left Barcelona before Yamal reached the first team. They never trained together. They never became teammates. They had never even faced one another. Spain and Argentina were meant to meet in a finalissima earlier in 2026, but that match never happened. The photograph remained their only shared moment. For almost 2 decades, their story had only that one frame. Then, the World Cup bracket started pulling them toward each other. Spain arrived with the best defensive record in the tournament, 1 goal conceded on the road to the final. Argentina arrived with the best attack, 19 goals, more than any other team. By the semi-finals, only one result separated each man from the reunion hiding inside that old photograph. Spain went first and beat France 2-0. The next night, Argentina trailed England with 5 minutes left. Messi found Enzo Fernandez for the equalizer. Then, in stoppage time, he lifted a cross toward Lautaro Martinez. The header went in. Argentina were through. The photograph had its reunion. And the World Cup had its cleanest possible contrast. The tournament's best defense against its best offense. The last time cameras found Messi and Yamal together, Lamine was small enough to fit inside a plastic bath. Messi had never lifted a World Cup. Yamal was only 5 months old. On Sunday, if both step onto the field, the cameras will find them again. This time, Lamine will know exactly who is standing in front of him. And Messi will know the baby in that old photograph grew up to become the player trying to take the World Cup from him. Behind Lamine stands a Spain side that has allowed 1 goal. Behind Messi stands an Argentina attack that has scored more than anyone. The best defense, the best offense. The rubber duck is gone. The dressing room is 19 years behind them. Between them now is a football and the biggest prize in the game. Whatever happens in the final, the old picture will change one more time. It will no longer feel like a strange coincidence from before Lamine's story began. It will feel like the first frame of a story that took 19 years to reach the next one. Because some photographs capture a moment. Others wait for the future to reveal what the camera was really looking at. And if you think this is football's strangest World Cup photograph, wait until you see why Erling Haaland walked off Norway's team plane carrying a $750 taxidermied raccoon.